Dragon Walker. Yeah.
Megatron must be stopped, no matter the cost.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Autopod Decepticast. This is your bi-weekly podcast that delivers an episode-by-episode breakdown of the original G1 series. This is your episode 111. That means we're covering episode 7 of the Transformers G1 series, episode titled Fire in the Sky.
I want to make our lives better.
I heard.
Hello?
Surely.
Let's empower each other.
Hello?
What's
I'm
up?
looking for the Autopod Decepticast. Wait. Okay. If this is where it has to happen, then this is where it has to happen. I'm not letting you get rid of me. How about that?
Okay.
This used to be my specialty. You know, I was good in the living room. They'd send me in there, and I'd do it alone, and now I just... But tonight, our little project, our company, had a very big night. But it wasn't complete. Wasn't nearly close to being in the same vicinity as complete. Because I couldn't share it with you. I couldn't hear your voice or laugh about it with you. I miss the Autopod Decepticast. We live in a cynical world. And we work in a business of tough competitors. I love you. You complete me. And I just had...
Shut up. You had me at Transformers.
I never said Transformers, but
I know.
I'll take it. I actually... That was pretty good. I would have laughed just as hard. I thought what you were going to do was just say, shut up. just leave it at
I'm pretty
that.
sure she says shut up.
She does say shut up.
Okay.
I'm really confused.
Caleb never knows what these are.
She says, shut up, just shut up. And then she, of course, says,
It's Jerry Maguire.
finish the iconic line.
You had me at hello.
Thank you. All right. Now my...
I watched that
Obsessive
movie
compulsive
so
disorder.
many times, and because also as a kid I was like not as a kid, just forever. I've been
came out when we were 18.
Oh God, I have been so just into being in the idea of being in love and just romance in general. That movie, oh my heart.
Oh, you softy.
Is that where he's a sports agent?
Yes,
Okay.
It's a good movie. It's Cameron Crowe.
I think I saw it a couple
he's
times.
a great actor. Terrible human being.
Who? Tom Cruise?
Tom Cruise. Yeah,
How's he a terrible human being?
he's a Scientologist.
That doesn't.
I mean, it means he's misguided. He's maybe wrong. It doesn't make him
Well,
terrible.
he tells people not to take mental health pills, basically, which is a problem. And also, Scientology is super
I've seen Going
super
Clear.
against gay people.
Yeah, I've seen Going Clear.
So
All
it's
right.
possible that Tom Cruise has some attributes that aren't commendable.
Yeah,
But what is commendable is the delivery of those lines,
he
baby.
is a.
I'm free.
I love. On screen, amazing. He's an amazing actor.
That movie was great. It came out, I think I was a freshman in college. I remember going on a first date with a gal that there wasn't a second date for. Being extremely
Then that would not be a first
jazzed.
date at all.
A date.
That would just be a
date.
date. You're right. I think we did meet for coffee or something.
I hope during the date you just didn't keep going, I'm really having fun on this first date. Best first date ever.
Very presumptuous.
Putting it in her mind.
First date, last date. No, actually, now it's coming back to me. We went and had coffee, and then we went and saw Jerry Maguire, but I wasn't really much of a coffee drinker, and so I was just the caffeine and just the good vibes of the movie combined. I felt great when that movie was over. It was just a really good movie.
I took my pants off.
It's uplifting. It's inspiring.
It is. In retrospect, it's super saccharine, but I do like that movie.
I don't think it's. I mean, there are that moment in particular is very saccharine, but it's
And
still
that
well
fucking
written.
kid.
I don't remember the movie at all.
Cuba Gooding Jr.
You're Jerry McFucking-Guire.
I just remember
and Regina King.
all I remember. The only thing I remember about that movie is actually I remember Aaron just going kush-slash, kush-slash. I don't remember the movie. I remember Aaron
Talking about the
never seen
movie.
the movie. That's it.
I forgot Jerry O'Connell's in
Yeah,
that. Jane
Kush-lash.
Moore is in that. Did Cuba Gooding Jr. win a Best Supporting Actor
I think
or
he might
something
have.
for it? But yet, has Tom Cruise ever won an Academy Award?
I bet he has.
Wow, that's weird. I don't. In what?
I don't know. Top Gun.
I feel like he does a lot of movies that are Oscar bait but aren't quite good enough.
Yeah.
Like, I think of movies like Last Samurai and...
Oh god,
What a
that
tra-
fucking white savior
What a
movie.
trash movie that is.
It's so bad.
I can't help it. I've studied history, and that is
Here
a
we go.
trash movie.
Yeah.
Trash movie.
Yeah, it's bad.
Put it up there with Dances
Dances with Wolves, yes.
I liked Dances with Wolves, but now I'm also that's a trash movie.
All
trash
those-
because of the
White
social
sa-
justice
Yes,
implications.
the white savior
Savior.
movies are
White
so
savior
bad.
Right.
What are some good trash white savior movies?
I'm trying to think.
Well, remember the one with Sandra Bullock? But that's based on a true story, right?
Which one?
The Blind Side.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, but it's also very inaccurate as well.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's a movie.
All right, well.
I also don't really care for
Oh,
Sandra
I know one that is like the worst example. Fucking Lincoln.
Trash movie.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah, like he freed
Get
the
out of
slaves.
here.
All right.
Daniel Day-Lewis was a cobbler for a while.
I'm glad you have that fact.
Okay, Tom Cruise, real quick, never has won an Academy Award. Nominee in 1990 for leading role in Born on the 4th of July.
Oh, that was
that was a
makes
good
sense.
one. He did very well in that.
Yep.
Nominee
Love it
for,
or leave it.
yeah, best actor in a leading role for Jerry Maguire, nominated. And in 2000, best actor in a supporting role for Magnolia. Yeah, also a very good role that he did. Yeah, actually, he did really good in that movie.
All right. We have alcohol in front of us
Yeah, sorry. Here we go.
because Jet is doing a new thing where we have kind of a cocktail of the week, and usually, or I think always, it will be inspired by the episode. Right?
Yes.
All right. What do we got?
Loosely, I just run through them. For this one, we have we are in the real world currently
In the real world.
Thank you. In September, so we're at the tail end of summer, but for this episode is a cold one, gentlemen and
Ladies and gentlemen.
ladies and gentlemen. I guess
You don't know how I identify.
that's true. Pronouns. So I decided to make a hot beverage for this one.
Nice.
This Jigger Beaker and Glass book that I've been taking our cocktail recipes from was compiled around the turn of the 20th century. And so there's this whole section on remedies, which is like, there is actually, I wanted to read this part. There's a remedy to alleviate death.
Nice.
And I wanted to read this to you.
To alleviate death.
Mhm.
Death itself or feelings of discomfort if a loved one has died?
I think
This is like from
oh,
booze.
that's a good question. Like, oh, my husband died. What are some drinks I can drink to get over that?
In the next episode, I'll tell you how to fix yourself to salvage a guest from the effects of a hanging. But
Wow.
yes,
Far out.
It's what the fuck was happening in the
on a
early
minute.
20th century. So this is the recipe if you want to alleviate apparent death from toxic poisoning, and especially should, in any happenstance, the quality of liquor to be suspect. Which also, this does come during, this was written also during the period of Prohibition, so you get a lot of bum booze.
Okay, so that makes more sense. Not just death, but alleviate.
It's
Death.
all liquor related.
Yeah, from toxic poisoning. Oh, so you're saying like someone's basically thinks they've been poisoned by bad gin, and
Yes.
And so drink this.
This is an alcoholic drink.
Well, this drink in particular isn't that. I just wanted to talk about this because
okay.
So here's the recipe if you want. Mustard, mix 1 fairly heaping teaspoon with 1 glass of warm water or warm milk. Drink it all.
Okay.
2, salt. The same or slightly stronger mixture also in warm water. Ipecapepepeca.
Let me see that again. That is Ipeca Juanja.
Okay.
That is sounds like a native, like a Central American.
Yes, I think
Aboriginal
so.
word.
This is a simple emetic.
A diaphoretic.
Thank you. And an expectorant. Mix from 10 to 20 grains of the drug with a quarter cup of water, depending on patient ruggedness of physique. Repeat every half hour until gastric evacuation is accomplished. After 3 doses, stop and call a physician. Maybe that should just be at the top. Call a physician.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's if you want to alleviate apparent death.
It also does mention, though, that ipecacuanha is poisonous in overdose.
Perfect.
Poison plus poison.
So I'm poisoned.
Cure.
Here, try this poison. This will take care of that poison.
It's double poison.
I wonder if that's a plant or something, ipecacuanha or whatever it is.
Probably.
Yeah.
Until you mentioned that plant, I was just thinking you could just have a good corned beef sandwich and probably.
It sounds like hangover, like.
Oh, these are not good ideas. Don't do them. So for
about this drink,
for our drink,
which is called,
we have the Skyfire Tewahdiddle,
Yay!
which is Lord Ruthven's Gossip Cup or Tewahdiddle, a charming mix of ale, brandy, spices, and sugar, and dated London, 1654.
Oh, good, it's an old drink.
Yeah.
That means it's strong.
Well, we imagine that this is an even older drink than the old Gossip's Brown given above. And a Tewahdiddle, what a name! What a name! The immortal Dr. Kitchener says, before our readers make any remarks on this composition, we beg of them to taste it. If the materials are good and their palate vibrates in unison with our own, they will find it one of the pleasantest beverages they've ever put to their lips. Lord Ruthven says, in Experiments in Cookery, London 1654, this is a right gossip's cup that far exceeds the ale that Mother Brunch made in her lifetime. Again, some of this language is impenetrable. So here's the recipe.
well, luckily people come for the accents, so.
Stay for the booze. Ale, 1 12-ounce bottle or pint. Brandy, 1 tablespoon or a trifle more. Brown sugar, 1 teaspoon. Lemon peel, 1 curl, yellow part only, which I realize I left in the other room, but it doesn't matter. Ginger, 1 pinch, and nutmeg, a sprinkling. Mix all these and heat on a fire, but do not boil. This drink is a warmer of the heart, and will be a neat one to produce some cold fall or winter afternoon or evening.
Morning.
Winter after morning. Or morning, yes. Before a snapping wood fire.
Where's the fire? Come on, Aaron.
How do you imitate a fire?
I
It's not hell.
I briefly got into like radio plays and stuff whenever I was in my 8 or 9 years old, and fire you can imitate by crinkling up aluminum foil.
Well, there it is. Whoop.
It's like,
Is how Yoda would say
all
that.
right, you guys want to try this?
All right,
Yes.
cheers. All right, let's
Cheers.
get this baby
Wow,
going.
this is
We've
fun.
already wasted 30 minutes of life.
Hey.
No, hey.
I don't like it. It's not as good as the other ones.
It's not, but maybe if it were cold.
No,
The
this
flavors.
needs to be,
The flavor's just.
I need to get. This needs to get up to like hot tea level. In my opinion,
Even if, I think it does.
Yeah.
I think it. You needed it probably.
It's
like
lukewarm
it
right
needs to
now.
be
40,
toddy.
150.
It needs to be toddy level. That being said, it's not as near as flavorful as like a toddy or something.
There's a funky astringency at the end.
I'm still gonna drink every last drop of it though, because it's an alcohol drink in front of me.
I mean, you guys can just watch my faces as I.
He does not seem to care for it, ladies and gentlemen.
Ugh. You know what? We're gonna have some winners. We're gonna have some losers.
It's a big book.
We're gonna try.
Do you want to take a picture of this? This terrible drink that you hate?
By the way, I need to try now. I need to find the
Experiments in Cookery book?
from
Oh.
the 1600s. Make a note of that.
It's just like, get a bunch of lamb blood.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks, Ryan.
All right.
No, I love it, and now
I love the
idea of it.
experimentalization.
Thank you.
Is that a word?
I'm glad. I'm really, really happy you're putting this book to practical use, and I'm involved.
Yeah, no,
It's
and
fantastic.
Caleb got me this book for my birthday, and there's a bunch of stuff in it I've always wanted to make, and so basically this segment is just an excuse to make these drinks.
Great. Hey,
Moving right along, eh? All right, fine.
banter, news.
Dateline. Transformers. Good evening, Mr. and Mrs. America and all the ships at sea. The Autopod Decepticast has news. Let's go to press.
Guys, this seems like as good a time as any to announce that we're going to be in TFCon DC.
Absolutely.
Seeing as how this episode is airing on 10/6/19.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean this episode that we're reviewing aired on 10/6?
No, this one. When is this coming out?
Oh, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
Wow, it's almost October. Fucking Halloween, ladies and gentlemen. My fucking birthday month.
Oh, man, that means I got to get a present going for you here. So, anyway, back to the point. We're doing a panel.
Yep.
And we're opening up the damn thing.
That's exciting.
On Friday night, 8 o'clock. So if you are going to TFCon
in DC,
show up on Friday, get your wristband, file into the room. There might be, I don't know, that seems like there's always a podcasters roundtable. Then there's going to be a little opening ceremony, and then it's us.
Yeah,
we'll have about an hour of just amazing entertainment.
Are we the first panel of
We are.
We are the official panel.
We are right after the opening ceremony, so it'll be like 8:15.
Come on in,
Friday night.
This is exciting.
We would definitely love your support at the show, so come on in. Hopefully, you'll have a good time. There's no hopefully. You will have a good time.
Yeah, can you give them just a taste of what we might be doing on this panel?
Well, go listen to episode 80-6 or whatever. It's going to be a little bit like that.
Similar.
I can't remember.
More voice actor trivia.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of giveaways.
Mm-hmm.
Different script deviations.
Yes, exactly. It's going to be a good
just
time.
some of the fun analysis that we are known for about Transformers the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard rumors that other Hasbro properties cross over.
Of course you have.
So
nobody's going to understand that.
I know, but that's how we're leaving them with a little tantalizing taste.
Great.
Okay, hey, you know what else happened
What?
this week? Unfunny Nerd Tangent.
Yeah.
Caleb did a thing. Actually, that was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. I was on there with Mike Seibert and Greg from Unfunny Nerd Tangent, and we discussed Metallica.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good time.
Yeah. I wonder if the toy company Mattel and Metallica have ever thought about
I would
having a
not be
matchup.
surprised if Metallica has not sued Mattel for being remote.
They are litigious.
Metallica would sue just the property of metal in general.
It's in our name.
Yeah. So anyway, it was a great time. It was a good time. Great guys. Highly recommend everyone listening to Unfunny Nerd Tangent and Mike Seibert Radio. Hi, I'm Mike Seibert. I talk about Metallica. I couldn't resist.
I haven't listened to it. Have you listened to your episode yet?
Yeah, it's good.
Were you good?
Oh, that was great.
Okay, good.
I nailed it.
All right.
Yeah, and then you guys did something.
So also Ryan and I did a thing, Transformers Reanimated. So that would be Greg from Unfunny Nerd Tangent and Yoshi from Transmissions Podcast wrote a comic book script that they pitched to IDW. The content of that script is they're basically connecting They're bridging the worlds between season 2 of the animated series and the movie. So there's 10 years of time that's passed. What happened? What went on? How did characters get introduced?
Some would say 20.
Yeah, you're right.
20
More
years.
correctly. Ryan, did you have fun on that?
Oh, it was a blast. Like Yoshi and Greg, we read through the script, and it was. I listened to the episode yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
It was actually really fun. I really enjoyed myself more than I thought I would, and just doing terrible impressions of a voice actor.
Jaws paid for my house.
Yes, the size of a tangerine.
There's a quick tangent about
Michael Caine.
And he was in some shitty movie. And
Are you talking about Jaws 4?
Was it Jaws 4?
Yeah. And
You haven't listened to the episode, have you? Because I mentioned that in the episode.
Well, in Jaws 4, in an interview, they asked him if
Did they ask him if he liked the movie?
Because he missed getting an Oscar because he was filming Jaws 4, and then he's like, yeah, but I built my fucking house, didn't it?
Yeah, but it was the way he answered. This
Great.
Fucking whatever.
So go check out Transformers Reanimated. TransformersReanimated.com. They publish scripts there monthly for it. So far, they've got 2 up, and they have 2 audio episodes if that is your preferred way to engage with that kind of content. And it was pretty good.
It was a lot of fun. Go
fun.
listen to that.
And then final little bit of news, and then we're going to get into some shout-outs here. And just a reminder to those who would love to support the Autopod Decepticast financially and spiritually through a magical ritual known as the opening of the wallet. We are
Give us money!
on Patreon. There are several tiers of support you can choose from based on how much you are down to clown with the various levels of APDC swag. Speaking of which, we're about halfway to our first goal, which is 25 patrons, upon which we'll unlock the APDC booty box, and we'll be, I think at the $5 plus tier, they'll be getting that annually.
Get a bunch of stickers,
prints, get a bunch of shit, good shit, fun shit. So check us out at patreon.com/Autopod Decepticast.
Autopod
I'm never gonna get that right.
Nope.
Patreon.com/APODcast.
There you go.
I'm going to throw a wrench in this real quick.
So
what I was trying to say is they interviewed him and they asked Michael Caine if he's seen the movie. And he says, I have not, but I've seen the house that it's built, and it's terrific. That's what he said.
Thank you for nailing that down.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
So all of you who were really afraid that we weren't going to address that, Caleb did it.
Oh, no, it's over with. We can, sorry.
I just showed him this tweet where I referred exactly the
did
line
this,
he's talking about.
Fuck. All right.
So, speaking of Patreon, I think it's time to fulfill our obligation to shout out the newest patrons who, by giving, contribute to the fun and community of Autopod Decepticast. These patrons' names, as all patrons, are going to be digitally carved in the electronic marble walls of the APDC Hall of Heroes.
I also put them all tattoo on my dick.
Oh, wow.
It only fits one. So, unfortunately, it goes down my leg.
They can get microscopic with that.
That's perfect.
Patrons with short names only, please.
We'll do nicknames.
Initials, really.
Just one letter.
Like a monogram.
Our first shout out here, and that is at Somerset Sews, aka at Screams at Stars, aka Bono, fantastic seamstress, craftsperson, cosplay artist, Furby aficionado.
I want one of those long
She's
Furbies.
My recommendation is that you stop whatever it is you're doing right now. Go to somersetsews.com.
SEWS.
And be amazed and inspired by the work. And if you're in the market, commission yourself some stuff.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, she's great.
Outstanding cosplay.
Oh, it's amazing.
And really great long Furbies. I'm really thinking I'm going to get one for myself for Christmas this year.
Why don't we get one for each of us? We could draw names out
Snuggle
of
up with it.
I really think I'm going to just
get one for.
focus on getting
Okay,
myself
all right.
Furbies this Christmas.
Stop making it about you, Aaron. So follow Bono at Screams at Stars and at Somerset Sews, SEWS. And that's on Twitter and Instagram. I think you can find those good. So thank you very much. And next, we're going to talk about Michael. That's not a Mike. This is a Mike Trimblett. This is our good friend from the upside down world of Australia who advised us the correct way to consume Vegemite is to first butter your toast, smother it, and then apply a thin spread of Vegemite. No butter or too much Vegemite results in a yeasty taste.
We need to get some.
Have you ever had Vegemite, Ryan?
No, we need to get some and try it. I think the correct way to consume it, from what I've heard, is to throw it away.
Your garbage can consumes it. Michael actually has provided us with the fodder for a game that I think we're going to save for next episode because this one's running long, in which he's going to challenge us to pronounce some Australian words.
I'm up to it.
That'll be fun.
Caleb looks very excited, actually. His eyes have so much fire.
I've seen Road Warrior enough times that I think I can speak in a very convincing apocalyptic Australian accent.
I'm looking forward to this.
Eating dog food. And I haven't seen this at all, so I'm just going to be all American about it.
Thank you, Michael, and hopefully someday soon we'll all get to hang, have a beery and breaky down down some tinnies together.
Yeah.
All right. And I've already failed the game that I'm championing. Or we'll get a burger together at Hungry Jack's and douse it with tomato sauce.
From what I understand, we would also duck and cover from plovers that run around.
Oh, man.
After being with Greg on the Metallica thing, he was like, there's a plover stuck in a drain, and the fire department's trying to get it out. And he's like...
this is happening at his house?
Next door. He was like, fuck that Plover. Plover swoop you like a dickhead, he said.
I don't understand the hatred of these birds.
Fuck that. He said, fuck that. Because I told him that September 16th was National Australian Plover Awareness Day. And he's like, fuck that. They build their nests on the ground and then they swoop you like a dickhead.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that on Twitter. But, like, they're just fucking birds, dude. Why are you so mad?
I don't know. I haven't experienced it, so I'll have to hold my judgment for when we all go to Australia for Autopod Decepticast Australia tour.
Yeah, down under.
Yeah, oh boy.
Thank you, Michael, Mr. Tremblett, who also, by the way, took one of the cocktails and served it at a dinner party recently.
Check that out on Facebook,
Which awesome. Dinner party, or I'm sorry, which cocktail was that? Which dinner party?
It was the Chip Chase Creole Fizz.
It's so cool.
That probably is my favorite one so far. This one in my hand
unfortunately, the first one.
It's all been downhill from there.
Okay, so let's get into the episode, but first we'll kick it off with a recap of the last episode. Prime almost died while Bumblebee and his crew were almost fried, but Chip Chase's chance of cosmotronic courage triggered the troops' troubleshooting chutzpah. Prime's life is saved, Megs will live to fight another day.
Meanwhile, what are the Duke boys up to?
Well, right now they're in a whole mess of trouble.
Right now they're stuck in a drain with a plover.
Fuck them plovers.
Fuck them plovers.
They dive bomb you.
Anyway.
So that brings us to episode 7, Fire in the Sky, originally broadcast December 8th, 1984. Actually, the 7th episode produced at 8th aired. I guess we're doing this in order of production.
This is the first one where we are reviewing like kind of out of order because this is the next episode aired before the one we're doing now, honestly. But this
I wonder why that happened.
I don't know.
Whatever. All right.
I didn't even look into it.
I wouldn't. It's probably not important.
Who cares? Who the fuck cares?
Maybe they were airing it close to National Plover Awareness Day, and so they wanted a bird-like.
We could only hope it would be that interesting, but it was probably just like what?
Somebody fucked up.
Yeah.
The reel got misplaced.
Yeah.
We open up on Autobot headquarters.
Yeah, right away. Oh, you have a different version. Because the one I watched, the snow falls upwards.
What?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The one you watched online is probably... there are some differences, and we might even see those in the upcoming SOS Dinobots.
Yes, because there's a part where
they are supposed to destroy those rocks.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
What we're watching.
This is the snow falling down version.
This is the snow falling down version. I should say that Ryan, the team, and I, we kind of flip back and forth between two versions. One is it's I want to say it's a Shout release. I can't quite remember off the top of my head, but it's the Matrix. It's the Matrix of Leadership version. You guys, Caleb and Ryan, actually bought it for me for my birthday 10 years ago or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
The box is a Matrix of Leadership. You pull it open and it's got all the seasons on the inside.
Ryan,
so that's the version that I have. You guys have been watching on Tubi TV.
Yes.
And I think that has a different.
I think it's the
print.
Rhino, right? Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I think it is a different release. Yes, that there's a lot of technical differences to it.
How would you correct something like that?
How would that even happen to be?
I don't know.
I guess you'd have to go back and redo it.
It's like you redo the master tapes, but in this it's like, can you somehow lift the snow out and make it go the different? Like, I don't know how that works.
I don't either, because in the next one, SOS Dinobots, which we'll do, in the next episode, there's a literal scene that is very different. Like, there's just a part of the foreground that doesn't move
I want to know how this works.
Yeah.
So if you didn't pick up, we opened up on a snowy landscape.
Thank you.
Here. In my version that we're watching right now, the snow is falling down. In Ryan's version, it falls up.
And then we have this giant snowman.
Yeah. We pan across the scene to see that we're in front, by the way, we're in front of the Autobot headquarters. There's a giant snow structure, some 30 feet tall. Smike
Smike
approaches.
walks up to it in a very kicky outfit. I like his outfit.
That's nice.
That's the biggest snowman I ever saw. He's not Southern.
Wow, that's the biggest snowman I ever saw.
Not snowman, Spike. Snowbot.
Also, spoiler, real quick, we realize the snowman is Jazz, which leads me to one of two conclusions. Jazz stood in one place until completely covered in snow.
Right.
Or the Autobots covered him in snow for the purpose of a joke that doesn't even really work or mean anything.
I want to think that Jazz stood there waiting for the joke to happen.
Well, either way, this is why the Decepticons are better.
Yeah, that's right.
So the joke being that while Spike approaches the giant snowman that we presume he thinks is a real snowman, we hear the sound of chuckles and a shake off. An avalanche of snow lands on Spike, and we realize that this is Snowman. Why, it's Jazz playing some kind of prank.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just to be clear, the Decepticons are busy taking care of world domination. The Autobots are preventing that by standing outside and letting the snow collect on them until they're completely covered.
Yeah. And
Which is more concerning because
we know that
there
the
should
snow
not
is
be
happening.
snow.
Yeah, there should not be snow. Everybody is a little bit cart before the horse, but everybody is very slow on the uptake of this climate situation. It's revealed.
They seem real cash.
It's revealed in an upcoming line. Spike is like, this is crazy. All this snow is happening in July.
Yeah, July.
It's really fucking concerning. It's like the more I saw this and it unfolded, because I've seen this in years, and I was like, oh fuck, these guys are fucking
idiots. Like, they don't need fun. Protect our world.
They can have all the fun they want, but there's some problematic things going on.
Yes.
There's a couple of weird things here. There's a weird laugh track that sounds like 5 or 6 people laughing, and it's just really confusing because it isn't indicated that there's any other Autobots present yet. And then Jazz all of a sudden takes on Cliff Jumper's voice at a different point in time. But it turns out that Jazz is the true mark of this little flim-flam because we'll see that Bumblebee and Hound, Ratchet, and Cliff Jumper, they're all ready at the aim with snowballs that they throw at Jazz. And Jazz then dodges those snowballs, but the snowballs hit some rocks, and the vibrations from them create a small avalanche that falls on him.
Oh, God. It's so silly. It's so silly.
I know. I need to go back to tell myself, like, my 10-year-old, 8-year-old self, 6-year-old self, this was what I wanted to see. So I get it, but at the same time,
it is, yes, this whole opening sequence, the first few minutes is very for kids, I think, and then fucking
the whole thing is for kids.
Well, it's true, but in particular,
the silliness,
the silliness, yeah. And then B takes fucking Spike's head off.
That's a bit extreme.
So B is getting ready to throw something, a snowball at Ratchet, but Spike kind of stools on him, and for ratting him out, Bumblebee throws a snowball at Spike, which nails him in the fucking face. It's a giant snowball.
Hits him so hard.
Takes him out backward. He's just it would break your nose or your neck right off the bat. But not only that, it knocks him down a hill.
I love it.
And creates a very comical snowball effect that consumes all the rest of the Autobots as they collide into each other and get to the bottom of the hill. And it doesn't stop until they hit some plant debris.
It's so silly.
I'll have to say, the animation, pretty good. In this
snowball, Spike starts rolling down a hill and becomes a snowball, which picks up Ratchet, Cliff Jumper, and Hound, and then Cliff Jumper eventually hits a tree, and then Hound hits a cactus.
And that's when we remember, these guys are in this weird landscape that is both forest of the Pacific Northwest and also a desert.
Yes.
And that's at the point where Spike is like, I can't believe I'm in a snowball fight in July in the middle of the desert. And he's like, it's amazing. And then that's when we click to Optimus Prime, who's watching all this through a monitor on Teletran 1, and he says,
amazing! And perhaps dangerous.
Perhaps. No shit, Sherlock.
Well, yeah, and then Teletran 1 says global temperatures now 40 degrees below normal, which is...
And falling rapidly.
That's insane.
It is very insane. And I understand, not to do all the science thing, but not even 40 degrees below normal average, which would mean, it means the global temperatures everywhere dropped 40 degrees, which is crazy.
Some might have done more and some might have done less, but overall 40 is a big deal.
I will say
it doesn't say average, though.
Yeah,
Teletran 1 doesn't say average.
I thought he did. He said 40 degrees below the global average.
Weather report.
report.
Temperatures now 40 degrees below normal and falling rapidly. Entire planet freezing.
The heat.
And falling rapidly.
Obviously, for the purposes of writing the show, if they would have said that the temperatures dropped like 2 degrees,
right?
That's like
no kid's gonna be like,
it's true. It's
that's
true.
Tuesday to Wednesday.
Yeah,
it's true.
Because my kids talk about like like this is infinity crazy. Their numbers are like
right. But to Ryan's
they
point,
talk about astroseconds.
To Ryan's point, though, and to what we were saying earlier, any amount that seems, let's say 10 degrees less or 20 degrees less, you start to notice this cooling that fast, you're going to start to get suspicious pretty quickly and not wait around to do snowball fights to start deciding that there's some nefarious things happening.
Yeah, and also
I do like those snowball fights though.
Well, yeah, but also for reality, like the difference between now and the last ice age, which technically we're still in, but I won't get into it, is about 6 degrees. The difference in average temperature.
So this is crazy.
This crazy, y'all.
Crazy. But the other thing about this is the hypothesis that Teletran 1 puts out there, and I'm sure, Ryan, you'll have something to say about this. They're saying that they can tell somehow or another it's not like global warming or the effects of global warming. It's that the Earth's core is, the energy from the Earth's core is draining away. Yes. I assume if our core cooled, our magnetic field would dissipate, our atmosphere would vanish, there'd be no snow at all. It'd just be a bunch of dead bodies on a rock.
Well, the Autobots would be okay because they don't.
I guess the Autobots would be okay. They'd be having snowball fights.
Yeah, I'd turn around and going like, "Where's Spike?"
I think I have a whole thing about that later, but yes, if our core, the core has nothing to do with the temperature of the Earth. It's all the sun. And so if our core cooled, yes, you're right, we would lose our magnetosphere, which basically would mean we'd lose our ionosphere, which means all the radiation from the sun would kill everything, right? Essentially.
This would be just a roasted dry rock.
Like Mars. That's basically what happened to Mars.
Well, guess what? The Gears thinks the Decepticons are behind it, and he's fucking right. Surprise! And so we transition to a scene where I guess we're in the Arctic, and some freaky green crystal just explodes out of the surface.
It's like the red rubies. This is like a green.
This is so weird. Like I do not understand like how draining a crystal is like we're getting the energy from the core of the Earth. Yeah. I don't get it.
So what's happening is you've got Skywarp and some reflectors. They're building these underground tunnels, and they're using the time-honored Decepticon tactic of just jamming a hose onto whatever it is that emits energy.
Yeah, we're draining the energy of the Earth through kryptonite.
And they're capturing it in energon cubes.
It is
ultimately.
kryptonite.
It looks like kryptonite.
It's kryptonite.
And so I don't. Maybe we'll get into it as the episode progresses, but I guess supposedly these green crystals are somehow connected to the Earth's core, and that's how they are able to get energy.
Sure, that's another thing I don't get. Like, just tap into the Earth's core. Why do we got to bring fucking crystals into it?
Well, it looks like they can plug into anything. They might just plug into the ground.
Well, just plug it into the magma of the Earth's core. Like, I don't understand why we have to have this second step of a crystal that doesn't exist. Like, just put it in the core.
You guys don't believe in
crystals?
Green Earth core crystals?
It's like The Dark Knight Rises. That fucking movie where it's like, why do you have to?
Well, we just tapped a vein here, didn't we?
I just don't understand why it has to be so
we tapped the vein with a green crystal.
Yeah.
Why does it have to be so complicated? I mean, why do you have to make concrete that is like nuclear or whatever? Just make it a bomb. Why does it have to be so complicated? I don't like those movies.
Okay. Well, Skywarp says that soon hundreds of energon cubes will be filled to capacity, which I thought was a curious number to choose. Like, why hundreds? Like, I don't know anything about the purity of energon or like how it yields.
You should have said astro hundreds.
Yeah, at least done astro hundreds.
Absolutely.
Or why not thousands or millions? I don't know, but it just seems like a race that is so prone to use billions in its measurement systems that hundreds felt a little weird. So Starscream is actually he breaks down the intricate plot on how they're going to get these cubes. So yes, as we were saying, it turns out these wacky crystals are connected to the Earth's core, and as Optimus suggested, they're all going to suck it dry. Just isolate that phrase.
It's like those movies I watch.
Rumble and Skywarp are fucking with each other. As part of the fun, Rumble unleashes an earthquake that nearly caves in the mine. However, they also accidentally reveal something shiny and metal protruding through the icy walls.
So shiny.
So a bit more excavation reveals an ROUS. That's a robot of unknown classification. I don't believe they exist. Perfect. And they continue to dig. Megatron is very excited and ready to put this mech into action.
Mm-hmm.
It is weird whenever it's stuck in the ice. There's just this weird hunk of metal.
Yeah, it doesn't look like anything.
There's Megatron. He loves it. Let's do this.
He loves it.
Oh, excellent. I love it.
We transition back to the Autobots. With all the personality of a rice cake, Teletran 1 explains that there's shit going down at the Arctic Circle.
Abnormally large energy expenditure in the Arctic Circle.
They send a Sky Spy, which passes by the green crystal, which is the source of the problem.
I do love that Spike's glove has fingernails.
It's a little
fun animation error.
That's a problem.
So Jazz suggests that this green crystal might be a natural phenomenon, but Teletran 1 very aggressively butts
Not
in.
having it.
It's like, no, it is Decepticons. And of course, Prime is like, we got to stop this shit. And he is very serious, and he gives his first iconic command.
Finally, we get the line.
He says,
Autobots, transform and roll out!
I love where you paused it, though. Oh, you started it, but we saw Ironhide and Hound with their legs sticking out with it in transformation.
that looks terrible. In fact, they look terrible right now. Ironhide just looks like a brick.
Yes. Anywho, yeah, we finally get the iconic line, transform. And
Jazz, Ironhide, Hound, and of course Spike and Sparkplug.
Because they're needed.
They've got to teach them about Earth. And they go. So I think the first lesson that Spike and Sparkplug should have taught these guys is that they should fucking fly to
or get snow tires at least.
Because they're going to drive all the way from wherever they are. We assume the Pacific
all the
Northwest,
way to the North Pole.
all the way to the North Pole. Most people fly. Most people go. You can go to Canada, to Denmark, or Borneo, and Borneo by helicopter.
Oh,
wait a minute.
Let's do it.
You can go from Borneo to the North Pole by helicopter.
Yeah.
That does not make sense.
Why not?
Is it Borneo in South America?
No, Borneo is an island in like Southeast Asia.
It's a Russian.
Well, that's Borneo. That's not Borneo.
There's
There's an A in there.
You want to take that again?
Nope.
Okay.
Okay.
Borneo is what I meant the
Caleb
whole time.
and I one day are going to take a trip on a Russian
merchant vessel.
Yes, we're gonna go on like a 45-day tour
around the world.
Yep,
we're gonna see all the greatest seaports around the world.
Yeah, you can go on merchant ships.
Yes.
We're gonna do it. Do you want to do it with us?
When are you doing it?
I don't know. Tomorrow.
Hey! Let's.
Oh, don't extend the invite. Oh wow. I understand, but still, it hurts.
At 5 minutes 21 seconds, not to be childish, but it definitely sounds like Spike says,
Arctic Circle, here we come.
Our dick circle, here we come. Which is, he says Arctic Circle, here we come. But it sounds like our dick circle.
Of course
it sounds like our dick circle.
Of course it would sound
He's looking
like
forward to go into one of those Borneo glory holes.
Yeah, he's just going to be like cocks everywhere, like jerking them off.
I kind of changed my mind about going on a boat with you for an extended amount of time.
Well, maybe you'll get jerked off.
Yeah.
If I get tired.
That's what I'm talking about.
If he gets tired.
I don't know why I'm tired.
When I'm tired, I just love to jerk everything.
I just put so many dicks in my face.
Oh, God. Well,
this episode is going nowhere fast. Back to the Decepticons. The robotic giant is almost entirely unearthed at this point. Starscream commands 50,000 volts to activate his memory monitor, and when that doesn't work, he makes the universal leap to 1 million volts.
That's so many volts.
And I like how the machine that Soundwave is using isn't working, but he somehow has the ability to produce that kind of energy,
skill.
turning his arm into a concrete mixer.
Yeah. He turns it into some weird cylinder.
I'm amazed. Yeah, it's weird. It's again. These guys have a lot of amazing abilities that they only use once or twice.
Also,
it just kind of floats up in the air.
Soundwave shoots Skyfire with the whatever that Volt gun is, but then when he's done with it, after it doesn't work, he just lets go of it, and it floats away like it has a balloon attached
helium.
to it.
Yes.
So
this time 1,000,000 volts.
Yeah. So he hits him with the 1,000,000 volts.
It's weird.
It turns out that Starscream knew this tragic creature, Skyfire.
Honestly, this is where the episode for me gets really good. Like, I really like this episode.
I've never heard Starscream talk like this. I actually sympathize with him. Like when he talks about the past, I'm like, oh, he sounds like a reasonable person here.
Yes, that's my whole thing. Is like this is what it really grounds Starscream. It gives him a backstory. It makes him like personable and like honestly, it really like expands the character for me.
Yeah, but it's sad that he becomes such a
shithead.
Yeah.
All we really hear from Starscream up to this point is like sass or just ridiculous.
But I don't think we ever hear this side of him ever again.
Yeah, you may not.
No.
I can't recall. I mean, he does at some point. He gets kind of tossed out of the Decepticons. He goes to Cybertron and he creates the Combaticons. So maybe there's some more deeper exposition. But it is cool to like. You just never even hear this. He speaks with a sensitive tone here.
Yes,
like,
he changes. His whole personality changes.
He does seem like he really is.
I
like,
knew him,
a
Megatron.
friend. Like he really loves like fucking Skyfire. Like he really,
So to that, the story is that these two were homies back in Cybertron millions of years ago, and they're trying to get this to come up on his memory monitor, which is basically a screen in Skyfire's forehead.
Yes.
But it turns out that before this war kicked off, they were space explorers, and they've actually were exploring Earth.
And let's just pretend like Starscream's Earth mode doesn't exist.
Right?
He's not in Tetrajet.
He's not into Cybertronian mode. He is an F-14, whatever the hell he is, 80s contemporary jet fighter. And anyway, they went in close to get the 411. Earth looked like Ice Age Earth, and they get caught up in a polar windstorm. They get separated. Starscream lost touch, and I guess just said like, "Fuck it."
Well,
whatever.
not really.
He does sound sympathy. He just said he tried to look for him. And
he says he's.
I circled half the globe searching for him, but he was gone.
And now,
Like,
circled that other half.
He really. So he really tried to find him. Like, he really cared for him. Like,
yeah. Nope, it is apparent that he did. And so at this point, Skyfire wakes up, and it turns out that being frozen in ice for millions of years will give you a giant case of what the fucks.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Also, I don't feel like Megatron and Starscream are that adversarial in this episode. They seem like kind of simpatico.
Well, yeah, because Starscream isn't constantly talking about how he should be the leader up until the end. But,
Yeah. I don't know. It really makes Starscream seem more like a multifaceted, interesting character to me.
And then they quickly take that away.
Yeah, they do. Spoiler.
I wonder why they chose Starscream as the person.
I'm glad they did.
It's true.
It's
like,
compelling.
he's the first one to get an origin story. I mean,
It's compelling.
We get Prime and Omega Supreme later, but like, he's the first one that gets an origin.
I think he's a good choice if you're going to have someone like
Skyfire.
If you have a character like Skyfire, that if you're going to have him get betrayed by somebody, it's got to be somebody that is already
a
bad
piece of shit.
Has those tendencies.
He's going to be.
I'm with him. So Skyfire wakes up, and after a whole lot of like, "What? Who? Where am I?" Starscream gives him the skinny, and Megatron steps right up to assert Skyfire's allegiance, and they set up the goals. Quite honestly, they're here for energy, and they're going to conquer the universe and fuck up Autobots. That's what that's what we're doing. Skyfire, you're on board.
I feel like Skyfire might be kind of simple.
It is a Greg Berger voice. So maybe that's what he specializes in.
Skyfire doesn't
for a scientist,
seem
he does
all that bright.
Yeah, I know it is weird for somebody that is a scientist explorer. he's kind of slow. But maybe that's the frozen action on
Maybe.
his brain.
Frozen fire, frozen.
He can speak in complete sentences, just very slowly.
Great.
He's just incredibly naive.
Maybe he's just like
It's before the war, though. Maybe he didn't realize there was
He's
a
so
reason.
innocent.
Yes, that's the yes. Maybe.
just-
Maybe. That's true. It is before the war. He has no context, so maybe he's just innocent.
You can truly believe that he's an Autobot just by how innocent, moronic that he is.
He'd be playing in the snow too with him.
Yeah.
I do. We just saw the Autobots arrive in the North Pole, but why are Spike and Sparkplug here? What are they doing? I know why they're here, but it doesn't make any sense.
Their role, as described, I believe in episode 1 or 2, is to stick around and make sure the Autobots know what they need to know about Earth. So apparently they're like, the North Pole is cold. Things like that. So they've made their way somewhat north enough, and they're driving upon the Aurora Borealis, which Prime says is very pleasing by optic sensors. And we cut immediately right back to the Decepticons, and it's official. Rush Week is over, and Skyfire is now Alpha Delta Decepticon.
Yes, he is.
And his equivalent of getting his frat letters tattooed on his ankle is getting that beautiful Decepticon logo screen printed right on his chest.
That's good.
So he's ready to go. Skyfire
What
is
minute are we at here?
8:33.
Okay. I was just going to say, coming up in just a second, Skyfire asks if Starscream is happier being a warrior than a scientist, which actually, not to beleaguer the point, but it does make Starscream really interesting as a character. And I just, he just turned his back on being a scientist and is like, I fucking kill people now.
Right. Yeah, Skyfire is immediately kind of wary of the cause, to your point. He's expressing some kind of ambivalence. And I would say that, I guess it helps, if you're really trying to get into it deeply, it helps kind of understand what Starscream's main motivation is power. And I guess being a scientist explorer doesn't get you there, but being a warrior can get you there. And so that, hey, look at me. Fucking psychologist here.
And then
No, I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
The before we wrap up this scene, as they're finishing their conversation, Starscream also says that when he's in charge, old Jetfire will be the
second in command,
his Captain Hook.
Yeah, great. Anybody go? Have you watched the movie Hook recently?
I have never watched the movie Hook.
What?
Never.
It's a good movie.
Is it?
Yes.
it?
I like it.
Oh,
It's a movie.
but why'd you bring it up?
I don't know, because it's a divisive movie. It's one where people
Apparently, this room is
love
divided.
it.
Apparently.
Yeah, obviously, even people either love it or hate it. It's for me, I guess I'm middle ground because I'm like, well, I guess I do hate it. Never mind.
Say.
What do you hate about it specifically?
It's fucking stupid.
Very articulate.
Thank you.
Okay.
I can just see Ryan saying, "Well, he can't fly. What's a pirate ship doing there? What? Come on,
Dustin Hoffman. That mustache is ludicrous.
Dustin Hoffman, honestly, though, is if you watch it for anything, Dustin Hoffman's performance as Captain Hook is amazing.
Really?
It's great.
Not Julia Roberts as Tinkerbell. So, Skyfire is on guard duty. He sees the Earth-type vehicles approaching, and he says to himself that
It seems the time has come for me to make the change from science to war.
Maybe.
And then he does. The Autobots approach and transform. Recognizing the name of his supposed enemy, Skyfire aims his rifle and vocalizes his intent to destroy.
There is a bit of a giveaway as to Skyfire's allegiance because his eyes are blue. The Autobots all have blue eyes. The Decepticons all have red eyes.
Sure.
Fucking spoilers.
Well, okay. Sorry. Also, his size is really, really
They jump around.
And then eventually they just start coloring his Decepticon logo as red.
It is his symbol goes crazy a bunch of times.
So we go to commercial at this point and come back. And I forgot to mention, actually, when watch Spike and Sparkplug as Optimus Prime transforms here.
Okay.
For fun.
They just bail out.
Yeah, they're just almost thrown from the cab. So Skyfire at this point is blasting away at the Autobots, and boy, is he powerful. And the battle creates cracks in the ice. Spike falls into the freezing water. Sparkplug saves him. Look out for hypothermia. Spike wants to try and jump back to land, but the gap is too large. They are stranded on an island of ice, surrounded by this frozen ocean. The Autobots must save them, but they can't because they're pinned down by Skyfire. So the humans here are screaming for help. Skyfire at this point hears their screams. His kind of investigative instincts take over. He walks over to the humans. He plucks them from the island. He tells the humans that he means them no harm, but Spike and Sparkplug aren't buying it because the symbol on his chest tells them that he's a bad guy. Yeah. He's convinced, Skyfire's convinced the humans are all mixed up about the intentions of the Decepticons, and so he's like, I'm going to take you to Megatron, and I'll prove that they're not evil.
He'll show you that everything's okay.
As Skyfire walks by Optimus Prime and the team, or some of them are kind of antsy to blast him now. They've got a clear shot, but Prime is like, stand down. There's humans there. You know, you got to keep them from getting hurt. His at this a couple of scenes here, the gun that he's using is not his
changes around.
G1 gun. That's the Robotech version of the gun from when he was a different character or different design altogether.
It switches because also we now see the 2-barrel one. Like there's a 1-barrel one and a 2-barrel gun that it switches back and forth. Because as I talk about later, this character doesn't show up a lot in the show because there are some legal issues.
Yeah, there's
Tell me more. I'm interested.
I don't know to what degree you're getting into it, but I know that there's at least 2 Transformers the Basics and Rodimus Prime will both have great play-by-plays on what's the legal deal with Skyfire, Jetfire, but the basics of it is that the toy itself is Bandai, and it's used for like the Robotech series and all that, that's a Japanese series. But Hasbro acquired the license to the toy in the United States of America to sell under the Transformers line. So, but Takara in Japan could never acquire that license because Robotech was big in Japan. They weren't going to be just doling it out. So eventually, Robotech made its way to the United States, and there were just plenty of legal issues, and it just became easier at the end of the day to just pretend like Skyfire didn't even exist. But they changed the design of the character based on the fact that in Japan they were never going to be able to actually use that design for the cartoon. So that's why the character looks so different from the toy. But eventually, there were lots of lawsuits over the rights of the character, even in the United States, and they basically said, "Fuck it."
I think Maycross Super Valkyrie was the toy that became Jetfire, but essentially, in Japan, they didn't have the rights to show it.
Gotcha. I understand.
Okay. That's the long and the short.
Which was a shame because everybody fucking loved the character.
Yeah, he was awesome.
Yeah, he's cool looking.
Also, I think Aaron, didn't you have the Japanese version or the not Skyfire version, but the Robotech version of Skyfire?
No, I think what I had was the actual Jetfire, and that's the other thing. In the show, they call him Skyfire. On the toy is called Jetfire.
Yes.
And I can't remember what it is in the comic, but they changed the name. I don't know what the name has to do with it at all. But they changed the name for legal reasons, but I don't even understand why that's relevant.
But it's also confusing.
You're not calling him Super Macross, Sky, whatever.
I looked into it and it's very confusing as to why, because it's not necessarily, it's just not clear why any of this happened, but
I'm sure there's a lot of translation error in those battles.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so Skyfire, still innocent, sweet, takes the humans to Megatron, who of course treats them as leverage against the Autobots. He commands Spike and Sparkplug to be imprisoned. They're positioned in a corner of the icy cavern that they're in, and Starscream fires his null rays over their head with such control that he's able to melt the ice and create these perfect stalactites of icy jail bars.
It's a jail.
That they can actually sneak through.
This is the point where Skyfire is so crazy changeable in size. Like, he is looking through the cavern entrance, which would make his face the size of Megatron's body.
So yeah, he's looking through a cavern entrance that your standard largish size Transformers can fit in, Starscream and Megatron, but he can only basically stick his face in the hole. Which would also mean, because the entrance to the cave is on the ground, that he's laying on the ground on his belly and sticking his head in the hole of the cavern. So, Skyfire is disappointed because he told the humans they wouldn't be harmed. But Megatron explains that, Skyfire, you've overstepped your bounds, buddy. Mm-hmm. And the humans are our enemies. The Autobots are our enemies. An argument breaks out over the value of these Earth creatures. Skyfire calls Spike and Sparkplug his friends, which that's a little presumptuous. But Skyfire thinks to himself that this isn't in alignment with his purpose to further science. I think we know where this is going.
He's a scientist, not an executioner.
That's right. So the Autobots, they're outside the cave entrance. By the way, where's Skyfire? Shouldn't his body be dangling outside the cave entrance there? I guess there's multiple entrances to this icy cave. But their command is to move in quickly, secure their position. A handful of Autobots, including Ratchet, Ironhide, and Hound, and whatever that grumpy one's name is, fall into the ice through a cavernous kind of cave-in tunnel. So they're lost. You go to Cliffjumper and Prime's group, and they hear calls for help from Spike, and Cliffjumper ultimately frees him. Meanwhile, Ironhide's team discovers the cavern where the Decepticons are doing the Earth core energy draining thing. Soon the Decepticons will have all the Energon cubes they need, all like 150 of them.
Yep, hundreds.
Megatron discovers Ironhide's crew, who are immediately apprehended. Soundwave sends Ravage, I'm touching my shoulder to indicate sending Ravage,
So you're ejecting the cassette.
to see if there's any other Autobots laying around. So they had to know that the Autobots were coming, first of all, because Spike and Sparkplug were there for no reason. They've dealt with them before. But it doesn't seem like the Decepticons were really preparing for it.
No.
They're just like luck that Ironhide's team gave away their position. Back to Prime's group. They can't find the other group, and they've been searching for Astro Minutes. Are Astro Minutes basically the same as normal Earth Minutes? Because that's about how long they've been searching.
No. I didn't do the math, but if Astro seconds are to be believed, they're super long. So I don't.
All right. Well, we've been saying that Transformers can't divide. Now they can't multiply. Ravage attacks Cliffjumper. Prime pops Ravage with his rifle while the rest of the team speeds past him. Bumblebee then shoots the ceiling, creating a caved-in ice ceiling that traps Ravage in the ice. I thought you had something. You go, yeah.
No, I was just like, Cliffjumper's like, he actually did a good job of finding and releasing Spike and Sparkplug, and then immediately is back to an idiot where he gets attacked by Ravage. Basically, that's it.
Ironhide's team has been lined up against the glowing, resonating green crystals. Starscream orders Skyfire to take the shot that terminates them. Skyfire refuses.
You to terminate them!
No, I will not. They have done no wrong.
But you have!
Starscream is enraged, calls him a traitor, and fires on him. He then turns toward the Autobots and takes his shot. An explosion ensues, and we see a sea of scattered Autobot parts just among the grounds as the smoke clears.
This fooled me. Like, I forgot. Thank you for laughing at me, Caleb. This did fool me, where I'm like, I forgot that Hound does do holograms, and I'm like, oh my god, they fucked those guys up, and they blow the Autobots on the screen to component parts, but it turns out that it's a Hound hologram. But yeah, it fooled me.
So we go to commercial at that point and come back, and that's where when we learned that the destruction of the Autobots was just an illusion. But I guess the thing I don't understand about that is, did they not really place the Autobots up against those crystals? Like, where are the Autobots really?
That's great.
Is Hound projecting everything from somewhere else? Were they ever even inside the cave?
Well, then also my question is, I thought this was heading to Skyfire putting the Autobots back together.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I thought that's what it was going to happen, because I haven't seen this episode maybe more than a few times. But no, that's a great question, is where were the Autobots? Like, did they just duck?
Right. Okay, well... these questions we'll never know the answer to.
We'll definitely never know.
Before Starscream walks away from the scene, and actually before that reveal, he walks towards the abandoned Skyfire. They exchange a few words. He basically washes his hands of him, and then leaves him damaged but alive. Then we find out that it was all an illusion, and now all the Autobots are regrouped as an entire team, and they are hanging out with Skyfire now. And I lost my place in my notes. Don't know where the fuck I am.
Happens to me all the time.
Hang on a second. Here we go. Regrouped as a team, the Autobots take it upon themselves to repair Skyfire, who was apparently badly damaged, and they're not sure if he's going to make it.
Yep.
Guys. But luckily we got Ratchet on the scene. Laserbeak is spying, and he's giving the whole true skinny to Megatron this whole time.
Yeah, there's a reappearance of, like, Laserbeak's microphone, receiver, whatever it is we saw a couple episodes ago. That's a recurrence of that thing.
Yeah,
out of his fucking
I guess
head.
just anything can come out of his head. It's probably a better microphone than we have. Go on.
It can't be worse. I love this part where Megatron...
Yeah. This is good.
Go ahead.
So Megatron, when he finds the news that the Autobots are still alive, just throws a fucking Energon cube at Starscream's head and basically just berides him for being a foolish piece of garbage.
When I was watching this by myself, it legitimately made me laugh out loud. When he
pretty funny moment,
Starscream in
actually.
the fucking head with an Energon cube.
Here's the lesson. If you ever capture Hound, just execute him immediately.
Yes.
Because otherwise you're going to get fooled.
Who knows? Because who knows?
That's right. Exactly. At this point, the Seekers take off and bomb the Autobots. Some great explosions here.
Oh yeah, I think this is the first time we actually see them dropping ordnance, like bombs.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really great animation. Like, the explosions are really good.
Yeah, I don't think explosion animation has ever been their problem.
Nope, just characters.
That's right. Prime releases his mobile attack deck at this point, which is pretty cool, which nails Skywarp, causing his stabilizers to malfunction, and he takes out Skywarp takes out Thundercracker as they go down in a hail of TIE bomber sound effects.
Yes. And then, I do love it any time that Prime uses his trailer, like any like roller and all, and the deck. Like, that's always fun.
That reminds me, I need to show you guys the MP44.
Oh, that's true.
Let you guys play with that very gently. So Prime and Megatron engage in battle at this point. They sword fight with the green crystals.
Yeah.
They conk each other around. Megatron does a crazy mid-air twist maneuver.
It is wild. Like, I thought it was super cool how Megatron flips over Prime, reverses his pelvis, lands, and then rotated to hit him with the kryptonite spear.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Prime also makes a propeller out of his crystal sword, which is kind of nuts. Just when Megatron thinks he's lost, Jetfire shows up. I should say Skyfire, rather. He orders Skyfire
and rips it off
to make the kill, but he refuses because he's an Autobot now.
Yeah, he rips off his fucking insignia like paper.
I like the iconic image of him holding up the Autobot symbol.
And
there's like sparkles behind it.
Like, where the fuck did you get it?
That's true. Did they just put it in his hand for if he wakes up? Skyfire picks up Megatron over his head and chucks him into some ice, and then we see a hilarious...
Oh my god.
The Reflectors try some weird pro wrestling tag team pyramid technique that has no chance of success.
This
whatsoever.
reflector, like, pyramid technique is bizarre.
They just run at him.
Yes, I
want to watch it again.
Why?
There is no effect with that move. And then... it's time for a final showdown. They used to be friends, but now Starscream is taking shots from the sky, but he forgets that Skyfire, too, can transform. And they basically they go up into the air, they play chicken, neither one flinches. Starscream is knocked to the ground, and Skyfire aims one last blast to create an avalanche that buries the crystal connection to the core and ultimately himself.
Yeah, which, I mean, they could have just done, like, it doesn't need to be a sacrifice.
You're right. Yeah, it sure didn't. And also, just why the game of chicken? Why weren't they shooting at each other?
You're right.
What's happening here? So, and he seems that he has enough control that he can fly himself. Does he fly himself into the crystal? No, he's going to fire.
No,
right?
yeah, he does. Yeah, he shoots it.
Oh, okay. All right. Gotcha. But then he gets to, like, he just flies into the rubble.
I don't know why. Yes.
And everybody just assumes he's dead because that's how they treat him. So the Earth's energy drain is stopped. Everything's just going to be back to normal soon. Sure. We know that. And that normal includes a future without Skyfire. Everyone is sad, but Prime reminds us.
It's gone.
He won't be forgotten, Spike. He will live forever, so long as freedom exists. We shall remember you, Skyfire.
We shall remember.
We shall remember. That brings us to the end of the episode. Thank God.
I don't understand what "as long as freedom exists" means.
Does Skyfire ever come back?
He does. Yeah.
Does, but in like some of the scripts that I've been reading, they're like, "Don't use Skyfire."
Yeah,
yeah, because of legal issues,
they're
which
just
is
getting
not
memos.
Not 100% clear. Again, it's not clear. It's not why. This may be the most unbalanced episode. Like, it seems like it was, to me, when I was watching it, it seems like it was written by like 2 different people. And then I looked into it. It's written by 3 different people, which is Dick Robbins, Bryce Malick, and Alfred A. Pagel. P-E-G-A-L, with revisions by Ron Friedman. So who the fuck knows where any of this comes from? But it just seems like the Starscream parts are really interesting to me and good, and the rest of it seems insane.
Yeah. No, it's true. I mean, you have these sensitive backstory moments, and then it's just the action and treachery and all out silliness with size and random sacrifices.
It's like shooting Skyfire's hand when he reaches into the cave.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Hey, voice actors. This is the first appearance of Greg Berger, who also voiced, most famously, Grimlock, but also Golden One, Long Haul, and Outback. I don't know what Golden One is. And, of course, he is the OG Odie and Pain in the Metal Gear series. And also, we've covered him before. So
also Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh.
Whenever Peter Cullen calls in sick, they call Greg Berger to Eeyore it up. Let's see here. Fun details, tropes. This is the introduction of the trope of Autobots driving to undrivable places.
Yes.
Yep. And there will be a lot of that.
There's plenty to go around. Well, let's talk about what was going on
In the real world.
All right. So what was happening in the real world?
Well, this one actually, again, like we said before, this one aired later than the one we're about to review on the next episode. So this one actually aired December 8th, 1984, Fire in the Sky. On the American Top 40...
American Top 40, the duo who call themselves Wham. After 3 consecutive weeks at number 1, they fall to number 2 with Wake Me Up Before You Go Go. Now, we're up to the new number 1 song, and it's a tiebreaker in the category of most number 1s so far in the 1980s. Since the month of May, there's been a 3-way tie between Michael Jackson, Lionel Richie, and a superstar duo. They've each had 4 number 1s apiece so far in the 1980s. The superstar duo who formed in Philadelphia have hit number 1 in the 80s with Kiss on My List, Private Eyes, I Can't Go For That, and Man-Eater. That's 4 number 1s. This week, they get that tie-breaking 5th number 1 in the 80s, making them the act with the most number 1s so far in this decade. The new number 1 song in the USA is by Daryl Hall and John Oates, Out of Touch.
The number one movie was Beverly Hills Cop, which I feel like everyone knows this movie, but maybe our younger listeners aren't familiar. Beverly Hills Cop was a 1984 American action comedy film by Martin Brest, written by Daniel Petrie Jr., starring Eddie Murphy as Alex Foley.
This is when Eddie Murphy
Axel Foley.
Yeah, you fucked that up.
I did fuck it up.
This is when Eddie Murphy was at like the top.
Oh, peak
of the world.
Peak Murphy.
This is like he was there was nothing bigger than Eddie Murphy at this point in time.
Yeah, Eddie Murphy was definitely in many of my favorite films, and at the time his stand-up routines are funny. They don't age great.
I'll be interested to see how he does his Netflix special. Like what
you thinking is that confirmed, or are you just guessing it's coming up?
No, he has a Netflix special.
Oh,
he's getting paid a gob of money, and he's back in the zeitgeist because he's also coming out with a movie where it's a biopic about Rudy Ray Moore, and he plays Rudy Ray Moore. And
Dolomite, baby.
Yeah, the previews look interesting.
Cool.
So Eddie he's coming back.
My personal theory as to why stand-ups don't really age that well is that whenever you get famous and rich, you can't relate to people. Like I've recently watched like the beginning of the new David Spade stand-up, and it's like he starts off talking about how shit is crazy when you drive in LA, and I'm like, that's not relatable.
Or those jokes were made 20 years ago. I just think you're picking the wrong comedian because David Spade's not good.
It's true. Well, and I also thought that there are some who buck the trend, like Patton Oswalt. Clean comedians also, kind of, like Patton Oswalt. Patton Oswalt's not clean, but like, and then Jim Gaffigan and Brian Regan, it seems like they're more relatable and funny. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Caleb hates it.
No, I'm agreeing.
I'd call it taste, but...
Okay, so, on TV... On the cover of TV Guide, Anna Alicia and Billy Moses of Falcon Crest, which is... Did you guys ever watch Falcon Crest?
Never.
No, I was a Dynasty guy.
I watched them all. Falcon Crest was a late soap opera in the evening. One of those wonderful juggernauts of the golden age of nighttime soaps, basically. And on the cover article was Hemmingway a man's man, woman hater, or our greatest writer? That was
I wish I had a copy of that issue right now to just get down to it.
I mean, the answer is he's pretty garbage.
He could be all those things.
Yeah.
He could be all those things.
I mean, he was jingoistic, misogynistic, and I like his short stories, but his novels are not for me. Anyway, but he did love cats, which is nice. Thank you, everybody. Okay, so just to finish...
He never met a catty, didn't he?
Just to finish up, he has 6-toed cats on his land to this day.
Is that a real thing?
Yes.
Like he bred 6-toed cats?
Yes, he had a 6-toed cat, which he named Snow White. His home in Key West. A sailor friend gave it to him. It's called polydactyly. And there's 40 to 50 cats that live there now, and they're taken care of by a veterinarian.
Hemingway estate?
Yeah.
Well, how about that?
So
that was the most interesting thing of everything you've said in the last 5 minutes.
I know that you guys are bored. So for the trivia, Caleb, you might like this. There was a car crash on this day of Vince Neil of Motley
Crue.
I'm being an asshole. Yeah. Yes.
Not that I care.
Yes, I was being an asshole. It's Motley Crue.
Don't you talk about Motley Crue that way.
But yeah, Neil was driving to a liquor store in Hollywood along with Razzle, the drummer for the band Hanoi Rocks. The two bands have both been at a party thrown in honor of Hanoi Rocks' first American tour. The band was from Finland. And everyone at the party had been drinking a lot. Neil and Razzle decided to go on a liquor run, and Neil in the driver's seat. Already drunk, he lost control of the car and crashed into an oncoming vehicle. Neil escaped with minor injuries, but the other 3 people involved were not so lucky. But traumatic brain injuries is what they suffered. And then essentially Neil became like, he stopped drinking. He became he went on the wagon. And his fucking asshole bandmates were just pricks. who were like tempting him to recidivate and like mocking him and basically just being assholes about the fact that he's trying to eat clean.
Yeah, they fucking suck.
That's the trivia.
That's nice.
Yeah, they. I'm not gonna say I'm not a big Motley Crue fan at all in general, but what's their guitar player's name with that freaky face? Is it Nick Mars? Mick Mars? Wait, no.
No.
What's his name?
No, it's fuck. I was gonna say Nikki Sixx, but that's from Poison. I'm gonna have to look.
And of course, Tommy Lee is in the band, and we all know just in general that he's kind of a
big
dumb douchebag.
We all know. We all know.
We all know.
We've all seen his dick.
We did. I remember when that came out, the Pamela Tommy
You know
videotape.
what? I take that back, and I'm sorry. It is Mick Mars. I am so sorry.
In your face! Yeah. Who's the bigger metalhead now?
My bad. My total bad, dude. And Nikki Sixx was in the band. I was...
Damn, man.
Get the fuck out of here, kid.
Boy, time to put this episode to bed.
Well, before we do that, I think it's time to get into our...
Script deviations.
The script deviations... Basically, the script deviations were all talking about how Skyfire was the problem.
Oh, okay.
Of like,
we covered it.
The legal issue, yeah, so we covered it.
We could copy paste or
I think originally in the script it said, the snow's falling up. But it actually made it to production, and they're like, fuck
they
no.
Fucked up. So it was actually an animation error when it was falling down?
The snow should be falling down, actually.
Maybe they made it falling up because the whole Earth's core thing is so
everything's
ludicrous.
out of whack.
You lose your atmosphere. Everything's getting sucked out into space.
Updraft. I mean, there's an updraft of some sort.
Yeah. So, okay, we can...
I'm the ghost of the iconic moment!
You know...
My favorite iconic moment is where Skyfire produces shreds the Decepticon logo and produces that iconic Autopod
Decepticast logo. He's a big fan of the podcast.
Autobot logo, and then slaps it on his chest.
Mm-hmm. Did you just think what I think? Idea for we'll take a pic drawing of Skyfire and put the Autopod Decepticast logo on his chest.
Sure,
you weren't
not?
Thinking it. Whatever.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
It is. Mine was just the whole thing of the backstory of Starscream.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's really fleshed out as to who he is. Like I love that. Like it's the first time we get a characterization, which is actually like an in-depth review. Like it makes the character a person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wish they'd have done more of that type of thing. Cartoons nowadays are just so much more complex. I don't know if kids have just evolved and they need that.
I think
their
so.
Storytelling to be more rich, or maybe storytelling for children has just evolved, and they figured out how to give it some depth without necessarily overcomplicating things.
Mm-hmm.
But
no, I think that it's both. Like you said, Aaron, I think it's both that people like children are more sophisticated, and the same way that like viewers of anything get more sophisticated as it goes on because we have shorthand for it now,
Mm-hmm.
and also like the writers and producers are like, this is kind of what I wanted to see.
Mm-hmm. You know, the idea of a Saturday morning cartoon, that is a very 80s idea. I don't know how far back into the 70s cartoons as a major entertainment thing for kids was existing. But so, that was its own moment in time. And I think they were just figuring it out. They were like, fuck, we have license to sell shit to kids through this fake entertainment. And so
let's get some toys out there.
Right. So things have evolved. I forgot to also mention back when we were talking about trivia about this episode, this is the first and only time we hear a Transformer have an internal monologue. And that's when Skyfire is saying to himself, he's talking to himself in his own head about his distaste for the Decepticon ways.
I didn't even catch that.
My iconic moment was just I think both of yours are great. Mine is just really the introduction of Jetfire in general. Like he's such an iconic character and so many people
He was a
so
great
much,
toy.
and there's so much, backstory. Like we said, check out Chris McFeely and Rodimus Primal, but there's a lot of just cool, interesting backstory to it that nobody really knew about until the last 20 years or so. Certainly not when we were kids. Next episode. Dinobots? I thought you were supposed to make dinosaurs. I hate that guy. Check the store. we've been in the process for making. I think we've said we're making new products for the last 6 months.
Well,
we're going to DC.
Yeah, hopefully we'll have
We
this
need
produced
new
by the
pins
time
at
we have
least.
DC. I hope so too. Yes.
Did you work on that poster?
I have been working on content for this episode and for TFCon, but we still have
we have plenty
cup recruitment posters. We have pins. Pin series round 2 is on the horizon. Hopefully by the end of October, and of course poster version 2. We've got a few poster ideas going on. So, and if you are joining the Patreon, just to pump that real quick, of course, some of the art and design crafty goods that we'll be making would be in the APDC booty box.
And we put some stuff up. We post some stuff up there that it's just not in the normal feed. So you can't
stuff about
see
our
it.
lives you don't even care about. I don't want to know what's going on in Aaron's house, fixing his porch. The roof's got problems.
I called a plumber yesterday.
Oh man. Ryan's house is perpetually leaking though.
Hey, it's a garbage dump.
I wouldn't say that, but your basement is. Whenever it rains even a little bit, Ryan just flips out and has to go full like bailout mode. He's going down to his basement with buckets, coming upstairs, chucking them on the
nice
grass.
thing is he's got plenty of things to catch the water in.
I
I walked into this house the other day, and opening the door, it just pushed over a pile of bottles.
That sounds
It did. Like opening the door, like you're
Those are recyclable glasses.
I know, but you're setting them in front of doors that people walk through.
Well, I am
because
terrified
we've run out of room of everywhere else.
It's honestly, it is. I'm afraid of home invasion.
Yeah.
So I set up like Home Alone style traps.
Yeah, that's not true.
It is 100% true.
Do you have micro machines in the hallway leading to your
No,
bedroom?
but like I have a La Crusade pot that I put in front of the door of the basement because if I hear that pot scrape across the floor, I gotta get my pepper spray.
I would be worried about home invasion if I lived in Ryan's neighborhood. His neighborhood looks like day 3 on a bad game of Paperboy.
No way.
just burglars trying to open up. There was a dead body found in a drum in your neighborhood.
True, like about 100 yards away.
That was like
there was a dead body
ago.
found in a trash can. Yes.
Oh my God, I did not know that.
It's true.
I don't remember that in Paperboy, but it's knock over a trash can and a body just flops out. Please continue to listen and subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, and TuneIn. Whatever your platform of choice. Caleb, I heard we just got a new platform that we've been added to.
It's not necessarily a new platform, but it's a platform that we're new to called Spotify.
Oh, never heard of it. Tell me about it.
Okay.
Apple Podcast users, please leave a review. Follow us on our social media, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, all of them at APodDcast. And, of course, the web presence, AutopodDecepticast.com, and the Patreon presence, patreon.com/APodDcast.
Thank you.
See you all later. This was a good one.
Bye.
Okay, let's open up this episode on Autobot headquarters, not to be confused with what the fuck. This is the wrong episode.
Yep.
This is the
I was about to say,
hang on. Fire on the Mountain, War of the Dinobots.
That's not even close.
Neither of those are correct, are they?
Nope.
God damn it, Plovers. Fucking swoop on you like a dickhead.
it was like, he replied back, fuck that.
I know, he seems so angry. And I'm like, why?
I don't like Canadian geese.
It's just,
they're
just fucking
mean.
birds.
No, they're mean. They used to chase me at the parking lot at my old work. They would all sit up on the roof of my warehouse. They would shit, all fall on the roof. And then when a rainstorm came, a tidal wave of geese shit would wash over the tide of the building and get all over the parking lot.
Here's my
It was
perspective.
I know you have. You're like, they're just birds. I don't have to like them because they're an animal.
Oh, I don't even.
I don't want to kill. I don't want to kill them. I don't think that they should not be here. I just simply don't like them.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Seagulls. I feel the same way
That's
about
all.
seagulls.
Like there's sometimes where
I guess to my way of thinking, I don't know why I thought this, but to me, Greg sounded like he wanted to eradicate them. And I'm like,
I don't know Greg's stance, but I just know that I don't just because I don't like an animal. I'm sure that early man had a lot of animals that was like, fuck that animal.
well, sure, that's a little different though. Like we are now.
All the animals were still around then.
Yeah, well, now we are we're in a situation where we have to kind of safeguard the planet.
Yes, that's true. Anyway, I agree. Anyway, I guess back to my original point, which we agreed on already, and I'll recap. Just because I don't like an animal doesn't mean that I want it to go extinct.
Great.
All right.
We'll put that on the sticker. Did you see my new Chuck Taylors?
I did. No, I didn't. Those are nice.
Yeah.
Well done, sir.
I bought these.
It's interesting that the Converse logo is on the interior of the shoe.
Unless
I like
put
it.
them on the wrong foot. I don't think I did. But.
No, you're right. Those are nice.
I bought these and a dress shoe at the same time online because nobody carries my size in the store because I'm
size
tiny.
shoe you wear?
Like 7.
You know, my grandfather wore a size 7.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
How did he get shoes before the internet? He probably had somebody make them.
People had smaller feet. Yeah, it was a cobbler. Everyone had a cobbler they went to.
Well, I bought these and I bought a dress shoe at the same time, put the same size on them, which was 7.5, I think. And these fit perfectly. The dress shoe is at least one size too big.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's crazy. My toes are like right here.
You'll grow into them. I wear shoes out. I just wear shoes until they fall off my feet. I have a pair of dress shoes though that I try to take care of. You know, I have a pair of all white canvas Adidas. Like everything's white on them. And so I was making spaghetti and I got tomato sauce on them and I was like, fuck, what am I doing wearing white shoes in the kitchen?
I literally changed my shoes to cook in the kitchen.
But I figured out, I did some research and the first solution was didn't work very well. It was but the second idea worked really well. You take vinegar and baking soda.
Baking soda, probably.
You mix it in a paste and you scrub it all over the shoe, and then
you pee on it.
You set them out in the sun.
Oh.
And let them bake. And then
interesting.
And then you take them when they're done and you just kind of clack, clack, clack and get the powder off. Pristine.
Wow.
Have you ever used those Mr. Clean magic erasers on a shoe? Those
are awesome.
They said for the canvas part, do the thing with the vinegar and the baking powder. For the rubber part, magic eraser.
There's the magic erasers are they do seem like magic. Because I've used them on.
There's something suspicious about how well they do.
Yes.
I'm really where's all the stain going?
Maybe they're made from Australian sky rats.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
Clover pads, whatever. They work really well. Okay. Did you finally get this taken care of?
We're good. All right. Let's kick off the episode.
Cells is the sponsor of Autopod Decepticast. Yes.